Yeah, like life is a miracle. Existence is a
Uh,
miracle.
well, yeah, I mean, look, we can't even say how life started from inorganic materials. So yeah, I mean,
That's
it's
another
pretty
miracle.
crazy.
Yeah. So that's another miracle.
Yeah, but I would just say like, okay, yeah, we don't know how it happened, but perhaps in the future we will. Just like
How can
all
we
these
go?
other
How can we
scientific
go back in?
discoveries we've had, like electricity.
Go back in time? Is that possible?
Sorry.
Can we go back in time to discover it?
Well, we can simulate the
But is that
conditions of the ancient Earth, and then perhaps find
is
ways in which life can form. So
is a simulation real?
when I
Like,
say simulate, I mean recreate the conditions of the ancient Earth in a
so,
lab, and then see what happens.
okay, but time only goes forwards; it doesn't go backwards.
Yes, but I'm not talking about traveling back in time.
Okay, so logically, break that down a little bit further because it doesn't make any sense to me what you just said.
Okay, so are you aware of how detectives solve crime,
Yes,
right?
how I
Like
became
murders
Christian
and
then.
shit. Sorry?
How I became Christian was a murder
Wait,
detective.
wait, wait, no, no, wait. Before you tangent into that, could you answer my question?
Yeah, I am aware that's how I became Christian. But
Well,
look at the evidence.
because of solving crime.
There was a guy called Lee Strobel who was a murder detective. His dad was a murder detective, and his granddad was a murder detective. His wife became Christian. He looked at the evidence subjectively of the evidence of the crucifixion. That exact video is how I got saved. So yeah.
Okay, it's a bit different from the point I was trying to make, though. Like, I feel like when you have a crime scene,
Mhm.
there's evidence. Well, okay, so there's different types of evidence. There could be DNA
Mhm.
evidence. Someone could leave like I don't know, specific items there. You could look at like CCTV cameras on the street,
Mhm.
who like look at who's going where and when,
Mhm.
and you can also talk to the victims, like who is related to the victim, right? Like, so you could have friends, family, relationships, all these things,
Mhm.
right? Using all these different pieces of information, we can talk about, or we can deduct who who committed the crime without traveling back in time. So
Okay.
it's not so, and physics, when we talk about ancient Earth, is very much it's similar, or it's
But
basically the same thing. We can use like the how like the decay of certain elements
yeah.
to track how long ago, or like how ancient these elements were. We can use like imaging in the sky.
Have you heard of thermodynamics?
Yes,
Do you know what it means?
thermodynamics is the physical study of heat, and yeah, it's basically just about heat and the movement of particles as a
Chaos, basically.
yeah,
How
basically, yeah.
things
It's
break
like
down. Do things ever break down from an explosion into order, or do they always get further and further away from structure? So, an organised something can thermodynamics. I will never die and then or start getting younger. I'm always going to get older. I'm always going to
yeah,
start decaying.
hmm
Minerals, mountains, everything that we see is a one-way trajectory through decay. So, an explosion that let's say it was organised, something that was nothing that was organised, or a very very small thing that was organised, blew up and made an explosion. With the law of thermodynamics, which is always experienced, how do we have order and structure and balance in life? From dead matter, the law of thermodynamics, how do we experience the balance and order of the universe and life? Isn't that contrary? That seems to me contrary.
yeah. So it's a good question. Uh, I guess the way you would answer that is to say, well, evolution and uh, entropy are working kind of against each other. It's like a race.
Exactly. So, I mean, we believe that. Oh, well, the Bible says that Adam and Eve were perfect in their generation. And when you make a copy of DNA, it always, like a photocopy, it always gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So people have diseases, People, when God created them, must have been far more intelligent, no diseases. And then as you repeat the DNA, you get breaks in the DNA, don't you? And things go wrong, as you copy it. So we don't think that we are getting better through evolution. We kind of see it the other way around of evolution. Devolution. Do you think devolution would make more sense if you were copying a DNA structure again and again, thousands of times? Logically,
okay, let's
critically thinking.
Like, I understand.
Okay.
I understand. I just wonder though that, like, because I know scientists have an answer like that, how like evolution coincides with the law of entropy.
But evolution's a theory, so they
evolution is a scientific theory. It's
Yes.
not like someone just like made up something and this is what we're going with.
No,
evolution is a scientific theory, which means it has mountains of evidence basically backing it up. Like, it is given all the information we have as a species, evolution is the best.
Can I ask you? I think it's agreed upon. Can I ask you a question? So I went to school and I learned about evolution.
Yes.
Yeah? I love biology. It was my favourite subject. Now, when I look at evolution, when I open up a book, because evolution was taught out of a book, when I look at the book, the evidence for evolution that I see in the book are lines, arrows. Here's a picture of one animal, then they draw an arrow and it's turned into something else, and they draw another arrow. So it was it was lines on a paper that were showing me this turned into this, which turned into this and this. So is an arrow in a book evidence for evolution?
Is an arrow in a book?
Yeah, you have pages in your biology book when you're learning. Yeah. And you have to tick the right box to pass the grade. And they say, this is how evolution works. So this is the evolution theory. And there's a picture of a tadpole that turns into a lizard that's coming out of the water. And the evidence that they show you is an arrow in a book. There's a little drawing, and then this arrow represents all the change, and then there's another.
I understand.
You understand?
I understand.
Could you show me the arrow? What the arrow is representing? Because
yeah. So the arrow is like it's a graphical representation of all the evidence that led us to the conclusion that there is an arrow.
Could you show me
that textbook, so if a textbook claims that an arrow is sufficient to prove that this species turned into this species over millions of years, then that textbook is ridiculous.
Okay.
All that textbook is doing is explaining the conclusions of evolutionary theory to you in a way that is.
You can't use the word conclusion with a theory.
Sorry?
You couldn't use the word conclusion.
Yes, you can.
How can you?
Because theories make conclusions about the physical reality.
The conclusion means it's proven.
No. It's wrong. So, if you have so think about it in a philosophical way. So let's say you have a premise, okay? So something you take to be true, or an axiom, whatever you want. Something. So like we take a few things to be true we don't need to prove that they're true. We just take them to be true. Given all these premises, we can then form an implication from these premises, and from that implication, we can form a conclusion. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the conclusion is actually true, but if we take these premises to be true, then the conclusion we should take to be true, unless other evidence can disprove the...
Does science evolve?
Sorry?
Does science evolve?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So that makes science not proven.
Right, science is becoming more precise by the hour.
Well, I mean, the definition of science is repeatable and provable, so it has to have an equation. So if something has an equation, it's established, we can work it out. So that, to me, science is repeatable and provable. Theory is a belief system, kind of like Buddhism or Christianity. You believe in it.
when it comes to stuff like biology, it's hard to represent that with equations.
No, but I can
It's
see
not
and
really
test
how
biology. Yeah,
works.
I'm not denying biology. So that's testable. So let's go back to these arrows. Can you convince me? Can you show me the evidence of the arrows? What would you expect to see? Would you expect, over billions of years, would you expect in the fossil records, would you expect a gradual change of animals just changing from species to species?
Well,
You know,
yeah, that's what the fossil records show.
does it? Really?
Yeah, there's also like DNA. You can look at the DNA of these things. You can you can compare the DNA of these fossils compared to other fossils. You can see basically a very slow change happening over time. So
doesn't I mean, if you look at a Ford car that uses the same parts as another model, doesn't it kind of point to the same designer?
No.
Well,
I don't know if that logic really tracks.
If God was God, if there was a creative force that made all these things, that made life, and it had a plan for everything, and it said, they will give after their own kind. So a dog makes a dog. He can have a big dog like a wolf, or he can have a small dog like a chihuahua, but it'll always be a dog. That's interesting, because you have active DNA and inactive DNA, don't we?
Yep.
So do you think that inactive DNA can get activated and the dog changes what it is, so it goes from having floppy ears to down ears? So, but it's always a dog, isn't it? Do you think that might be what God said? They will give.
It's not always a dog, by the way.
Oh, okay. What else could it become?
So, it's always a dog within 1,000-year time frame. But if you turn that into millions of years,
but is that a belief system?
Wait. If a dog can go from a wolf, let's look at this. So over thousands of years, we've turned a wolf into a chihuahua.
Hundreds of years, mate.
Think about what 1,000,000 years of selective breeding can do. So if we can from thousands of years we can go from wolf to chihuahua, and you don't think in millions of years that change could be even more drastic? I mean, that's what evolution is. It's a change over millions of years.
Evolution is a theory.
Incomprehensible to our mind.
I don't want you to take this offensively, because I'm really enjoying our conversation.
Don't worry, I won't take it.
Do you remember when they were reading you stories to go to bed with your parents?
Yeah, I remember. My dad used to read me Noah's Ark.
Well, the archaeological evidence of Noah's Ark is there.
Well, there's not, but sure. You can agree to disagree on that.
Well, no, but it's a statement. It's there. I can show you it. So what I'll do is I'll just send you that now, and in your own time you can test a crazy Christian. I'll leave that there. But listen, do you remember they used to say a long, long time ago in a land far, far away? That's the only saving grace of evolution, because it's not.
It's literally you can see from the fossil record how one body changed into another.
I love the fossil record, mate. It's very interesting.
So when you look at whales, for example, or
whales, you're talking about the hip bone, aren't you?
Shit! It's been so long since I thought about this. There's one. I think it's whales,
and they little legs.
They have a bone. They have a bone structure in that tailbone area.
Do you know what that's for, mate?
What?
Okay. Do you have residual things in your body that you don't need, like your coccyx bone?
My what?
So your spine that curls around because you used to be a monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need that anymore, do you?
Sure.
Okay, but if you were to chop that off, you wouldn't be able to get an erection, because that's what your penis is anchored off.
Okay.
But so those residual hip bones in a whale are actually for its penis. It's not an animal. There's lost into its legs.
But there's no actual credible scientist that says something like that. This is the first time I've ever heard something like that.
Okay, there's a guy that I listen to.
The truth is that they're I can't name them right now, but I'm sure if you Googled it about residual, basically artifacts of evolution in multiple different species, basically genetic traits like bone features, muscle features, things like that, that are not useful in any way to them, but they are an artifact of their evolutionary lineage. There's so many, not millions, but there's lots of examples of this happening.
Can I throw a spanner in the work?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what a butterfly is, don't you?
Of course.
You know what a caterpillar is?
Yep.
So let's just skip all that, it getting born in a single-celled organism, finding food that's grown for some reason. Let's forget the whole life coming to existence thing. Let's go to, this is a caterpillar, and a caterpillar suddenly thinks, I need to start wrapping around and making a cocoon over millions of years. You know natural selection as well, don't you? Survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to smirk, because you're gonna get stuck in a second. So a caterpillar starts thinking, I need to get into a little case for a second. So it gets into this case, starts getting into this case, and the animals don't kill it. They think, oh, we're going to leave that one. Leave Colin the caterpillar alone. Don't attack him. Don't eat him. Leave Colin alone. Yeah, so Colin's thinking, oh, I'll do this. And then, I don't know how he reproduces, but he reproduces. And he gets into this thing. Do you know what I need to do? I need to become a flying butterfly straight away. Over millions of years. How does evolution allow a little squidgy green thing to evolve into a cocoon, and then decide in the cocoon, hey, I need to fly, and then reproduce on the other side? How is that possible? The floor is yours.
So, like when I use the Chihuahua example, like do you not notice that there's like a pretty extreme difference between a wolf and a Chihuahua?
No, not really. They're just different sizes.
They're different sizes, but they're like, if you look at them phenotypically, so like the way they look.
I used to grow cannabis, mate. I know about phenotypes. So yeah, I understand what phenotype is, and variation inside the species.
Like the fact that we can change the phenotype.
Yes.
In only thousands of years.
Into hundreds of years. You can take them in a litter.
Been around for millions.
Yeah, you can have it for
thousands of years is trivial compared to millions.
Yes, but that's the theory. What I'm saying is, I can observe. You're
not following my logic, though. You're not following the logic.
You're avoiding the elephant in the room.
No. So what you're doing is, right, you're basically saying, I am too ignorant to know about how a caterpillar... By the way, caterpillars turn into, like, butterflies already. And that's nothing to do with evolution. They're the same species. So that's a whole different, like, thing.
So were they always a caterpillar and a butterfly? Because I agree with that. I agree they were always the same species.
It's the same way that how humans go from 1 year old to 80.
Yes, I agree.
It's just part of their life cycle.
Yes, I agree. But did that happen in the Big Bang from the... Oh, he's gone. Hey, absolutely cooked, mate. Cooked. You won't hide creation away from me. I'm not a monkey flying around in space. Jesus Christ is Lord. The Bible is true. And the creation story makes so much more logical sense. Even though it's very difficult to prove because I wasn't there. If you really want to study it, you can. Kent Hovind is brilliant. I don't normally have pictures of men on my wall, but in my hallway, there's a little photo of Kent Hovind because I think he's brilliant. Yeah, I can't be standing up and showing you, but I've got a picture of a man on my wall. But Kent Hovind, check him out. And there's £10,000 if you can beat him live in a seminar if you're an evolutionary person. You could be from Harvard anywhere. So if you want to earn some money and prove evolution theory, organise it. And there's a cash prize there. I think it's £1 million actually. I think there's a guy that backs him. So if you can beat him, he'll give you £1 million. And that's been there for 10 years, 20 years. Kent Hovind. But yeah, people run away when they get cooked. Pray for that guy. The penny's dropped. That's why people run. What was it? Evil runs when no man pursues. Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus.